We're going to start where we left off in 2021. We're going to start with Italy. So Italy have participated 46 blooming times. They've won 3 times, of course, back in 1965, 1991. Who can ever forget that? 1990, sorry, not 1991. They hosted in 1991. And, of course, in 2021, last year with Måneskin and Zitti e Buoni. They are represented by a very familiar face, people. They are represented from 2019's Italy. Soldi with Mahmood, of course, who sang a wonderful, wonderful hit, Soldi, back in 2019, which, until a certain Duncan Lawrence came along, was like one of the biggest selling songs of all time. Brividi, though, is a little bit different. It's definitely different to Soldi, for sure, and it's very different to what Italy won with last year. We start with an emotional ballad, and it really explores the insecurities of people who don't know how to love. It's just been drawn to sing at number 9 in the grand final. And I want to know what the panel think. So let's start. I'm going to start with Phil and Michelle, because Phil and Michelle, for those who've been regular fans of ESC Fan TV, and before we start, I should just mention, if you're new to ESC Fan TV, well, thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoyed tonight's show. These are just Eurovision fan opinions. You may like them, you may not like them. We're going to give you our opinions, warts and all. Phil and Michelle followed the Sanremo contest right the way through that entire week. So are best placed to tell us what they think of Mahmood and Blanco. Tell us your opinions.
Well, to be honest, when we were watching Sanremo, it wasn't my favourite song. But
our favourite songs didn't get through to the final sort of thing.
No, but I mean, it's grown on me a lot, and I think normally that's a bad thing. But when you compare this ballad to the other ballads in the contest, it's really unique. It's got a really unique sound. It's not a formulaic ballad in any sense. It sounds like nothing, and they sing it beautifully. It is a really good ballad. I think it's the best ballad in the contest.
Oh, that's controversial. But yeah, again, at Sanremo, this was not my favourite song, and I was like, oh. But when you hear all the songs in the competition with this song, it does stand out. It is unique, and it's unusual to have 2 men singing to each other the way that they sing each other. I mean, I'd love it if Phil looked at me the same way as Mahmood looks at Blanco, Blanco looks at Mahmood. You know, they really mean it. Why don't you do that? Yeah, not like that. And it does it. I think it will stand out. And I think where they've been drawn as well, it's not a bad draw. It's all right. But I think it'll do really well.
Yeah, I think it will. I mean, it's one of the favourites to win, of course. I think it's second favourites to win right now. And, you know, when you think of Italy in Eurovision, especially post-2011, when they returned after such a long hiatus, they finished in the top 10 8 times. They've only finished outside the top 10 twice. That takes some doing. And I just wonder whether that really comes down to the competition, Sanremo, standing alone and being a massive competition in Italy, regardless of Eurovision. For years, there was absolutely zero connection. Martin, this has the potential to win for Italy again. It's high in the bookmakers, it's high in the betting, and it's going to be stunning on stage. What are your thoughts on this entry? How do you think it will be staged, and how do you think it might do?
Well, starting with how do I think it might do, I think that this, normally hosts don't really want to win. This year, I think they've got a really, really good chance of winning. This is my number 1. Unless Azerbaijan tomorrow come in with something out of this world, it will probably still be number 1 tomorrow evening, for me anyway. And I think this year is going to be like 2011 when they came back, because I think it's fairly even. There's no euphorias or satellites or anything that's outstanding or far ahead of anything else, and there's several that could easily win this. I think this is going to be perhaps more jury than televote, but then again, Sanremo, there's more televote in the final 3 sections, so it's done it all. And I really love this song. You know, great emotion between the 2 of them. If you watch the Sanremo performance, you've got Mahmood, who's now the veteran, even though he's only 29, And you've got Blanco, who's just like incredible, thinking how young he is, and his stage presence is superb. So I think this is going to be an absolute wow on final night. Ninth, as Michelle was saying, ninth's not a bad draw to have. You know, if you were drawn in the first half of the final and you got number 9, or and you were one of the favourites, number 9 is potentially one of the slots they might give you. So I think it's still open for Italy to win, and I'd be delighted to see this take the trophy again, and it would give Italy another chance to actually have a Eurovision when it's not affected by the pandemic.
Oh yeah. That's part of the Eurovision ESC Fan TV bingo, by the way. Pandemic. If you had pandemic on your square, it's now time to take a very large sip of whatever drink you may be drinking. And if you haven't got a drink, people, go and get yourself a drink. Right. Let's delve a bit deeper into this. So it's rare for a Eurovision country to want to win twice, but when you look at Italy's standing in Eurovision, they very rarely have a bad year, and this is absolutely going to be a great year for Italy, as we would expect. Oban, this is so stunning on stage. Their vocals are so incredibly outstanding, and they sing so well together. How are Italy going to beat what they've done in Sanremo, and can you see how this being staged in any other way other than what we saw in the Sanremo competition?
I mean, in all fairness, there's huge room to improvement, because Sanremo is basically a live concert. Like, it's not really, it's the stage and everything is for the auditorium. Yes, it's televised. Yes, it's put it on radio. So I don't think it's gonna look anything like it was on Sanremo's stage. It was just a concert for live audience, and that's it. But here they're coming for a TV show. So Eurovision, it's more than TV show. Then it's a live concert. So excuse me. So I have huge expectations, and I think Italy takes this very seriously. I think their absence is also because how much they take it very seriously, because they wanted to do so well all the time. So I think they're coming for us, and I have to give it to the guys, to the boys. They are one of the very few acts that we watched throughout the whole national selection. You could see when they're performing, they're not acting, they were just living their song. They meant every single word, and it's just, I have 3 songs this year that gives me Brividis all along for 3 minutes, and Brividi is one of those 3. And we have the second one also tonight, we will discuss later. But this song just breaks my heart and carries me along for 3 minutes, and I'm all there with them for 3 minutes long, not short, not 2 minutes 59 seconds. It's 3 minutes. They captivate me.
Thank you, Oban. I saw in the chat room someone talking about high fashion. I mean, that's a great way to describe Italian entrance to Eurovision. High fashion, people. Yeah, serious couture. I agree, Amir. And thank you for keep those comments coming in, people. Thank you for sending them through. We do appreciate it. And of course, anything you say, we're going to shove on screen, but keep it clean, people. That's all we ask. Not really. Yeah, sorry, but not sorry. Elliot. Italy. I mean, this is at the top of most people's scorecard at the moment. They look stunning. They're phenomenal together. Mahmood, I'm very shocked to see him back in the contest. When you talk to a lot of people about bops and bangers at Eurovision, most people will have Soldi at the top of their list, or at least in the top 5. Yeah, exactly. But this is very, very different. Is it nice and good and pure for Mahmood to come back with something completely different to what we experienced in 2019?
Yeah, I do think that is good, and like a lot of the artists who came back this year, who've tried in the past or represented in the past, did come back with very different things, and I think it is important to show their diversity. As Michelle said, Song 9, also good slot to have. Since 2015, every song that's performed in Song 9, bar the UK, has finished inside the top 10. The only 2 that haven't was Suri and James Newman. So, the thing is, though, I think, and I say this a lot with Italian entries, I think this is hyped up and really being pushed because it's Italy and it's in Italian. I feel very little to this song. It's not a bad song. The piano in it is lovely. I think the contrast in their voices are lovely. I just find it very one note after the first minute. I know it's important, and I think the story is phenomenal. But as a contender to win, no. It's low top 10 for me. It will do well, but a lot of people are saying this is the obvious winner, and it's not. I'm sorry. It will do very well, and they can be very proud of this entry. It's a very credible host entry. I don't think Michelle's doing the back-to-back either, but I don't think Italy is doing, the double, sorry. It's not bad, but it's not one I've actually listened to much on Spotify at all. I don't go back to this song. But it's not a bad song. It just doesn't keep me engaged.
Thank you, Elliot. And Tom, what are your thoughts on Italy this year? Can you see a double on the cards?
Can't see a double, but I think, it's going to do well, isn't it? I think this is going to do really well. I reckon when people suggest that, a 2011 scoring, possibly not actually out of the realms of possibility, where they win the jury vote but don't necessarily perform as high on the televote, potentially. But I like it. It's got a lot of heart. It tells a very important story. It's nice to see Mahmood back as well. And I think the two voices really complement each other. And that's so important because I think we have seen duets that go to Eurovision where, how can we put this? The chemistry on stage is not what one would expect. Verona. Whereas this actually works really, really well. And they should get one of the best placings that a host has had for many years out of it. And yeah, I think it's going to do well.